I've decided today is the day. I've got a bucket, a roll of duct tape, and I'm walking up to pick up some broken glass. About to grab my first piece. There we go. Well, I already got a little bit. Here in my favorite spot, place that I call the Rock Garden. What growing is slow. One of my favorite things to do out here is crawl on these rocks. Primal movements for exercise. And I started doing this like 2 summers ago, about this time of year. And pretty quickly realized that it's not just about the physical movements. The exercise is not purely benefiting the muscles. There's definitely something nice about being outside in nature, under canopy, getting different light, hearing different sounds, the birds, the wind, and moving, stepping into that. And I think it became apparent to me right away that the way to do this sustainably for myself is to be cautious, because there's a lot of broken glass in the ground. People come up, probably kids, but people come up here and occasionally have a glass bottle, and perhaps for whatever reason, fun in the moment, they like to smash it. And leave shards of glass everywhere. And it's everywhere. And it rains and the water moves the glass around. It gets buried in the soil. But the rocks, the surface of the rocks, that's safe. That's in bounds. There's not gonna be glass that I'm not gonna see on the surface of the rocks. So that became probably within 30 minutes the first time I was out here. It's like, okay, a lot of broken glass. I'll just move slow. And that opened up, that shaped the experience, the game, completely from the beginning, in a very important way, because going slow is hard. It's hard to slow down. So try it. How slow can I go? How deliberate can I be in my movements? Because I'm keeping myself safe. I'm protecting my body here. There's risk. And the reward is that I get to be out in nature. Outside, breathing fresh air, getting sunshine, rain. I don't mind. I quite like to be out here when it's raining, or when that weather changes especially. Different temperatures. See different birds and animals. I've seen coyotes out here a couple times, raccoons, squirrels. Really just watching the squirrels work. It's inspiring. Tune's back. Chipmunks. So, just trying to give back a little bit. Make a place that's near to me a little better than I found it. Because I am better as a person holistically for having spent a lot of time here. So this is a calm practice for me. We'll see how it goes. So I'm still at it. It's kind of interesting, like some of these, like this piece, is firmly in the ground. This piece, pretty firmly in the ground. Then there's other pieces, like this one's just on top here. So glass is becoming part of the soil profile here. I always think like 1,000 years from now, if whatever version of their archaeologists study people from this time, one of the clues will be what we leave behind in the soil. Glass, plastic. These are the things that some future society might try to reconstruct. What was important to these people in the 2000s? You know, we spent a lot of time out here. I don't want her to cut her paw. I don't want to cut my foot. She don't know. There's a lot of it. But I don't have to get it all. I don't have to get it all today. Just kind of get what I want. And kind of quickly seeing that this is a mindfulness practice, and I'm paying attention to my posture as I'm doing this. You know, I noticed pretty soon I was bending over, and my left arm was kind of like bracing my thigh. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I can probably do this a little more balanced. So trying to incorporate some of that primal movement stuff into this. And just be aware of my posture as I'm doing this. And I'm being real careful. You know, I'm barehanded out here doing this right now. I should probably wear gloves. But I'm also trying to be real mindful of how I pick them up. Using little sticks to wedge them up. Get the angle. Make the angle better. Tuna's interested. What are we doing today? This is different. She's a good girl. You're a good girl. Alright. So here's a spot that I marked the other day. This is pretty recent. I marked it with this big log. So I'm gonna walk right here. Bunch of glass. Also, what is someone dusting out here? I don't know. So I'll try and get most of this here. This one I marked because I want to, this is right in the middle of the path. This was one I'd like to clear out of here a bit. It's kind of sharper, it's new. Like it's breaking in the bucket as I toss it. Yeah, there's a lot. But I'm not going to be overwhelmed by it. Each piece is one less. This is sharp. Should be careful here. Tune says, why don't we take a break? Let's sit on this rock for a while. Break time. Up here on this rock, and wouldn't you know it, some more broken glass. You know, glass is another one of those things. It's true for everything. The more you look, the more you see, though. You know, I've kind of trained my eye for it a little bit. And I can see it. Kind of glimmers in the light, you know, it's easy to see. That one's in the soil, so I'm just gonna leave it. Here's a piece though, sitting on top. This is a spot you can see the water rushes down here. There's a little creek down here. It's dry right now. Up here on top, it's a little stack of wood. I think the local youth comes and builds forts sometimes. This one just looks like a big pile of logs, like Lincoln logs or something. So I don't really love that. I love kids doing something out here, but to me this just looks like, hey, here's a big stack of logs, and I've been finding slowly places for them in the woods, for example. Nice spot for this one here. Another few down here. Just trying to maybe put them where it could help slow the water when the water's rushing. Put one here. And the poison ivy. Kind of a... That's the second one I noticed quickly out here. Is like there's two rules. broken glass and poison ivy. Anytime I am crawling around and I encounter broken glass or poison ivy, that is a boundary. That is a sign that the game either needs to morph into something else, it's come to an end, or go backwards. And I'm looking over here now and I can see shimmer in here. Some more glass. There's some kids behind me playing. I don't know how to look backwards. Playing on the rocks. It's natural. It's the same thing I do. Just crawl around. Watch out for glass. Now here is a good find. Look at all this glass. There's a stick in there. Look at all this glass. Completely unbroken. But I promise you, the longer this stays out here, the more likely it is to eventually get broken by someone or something, but probably someone. So this goes into the bucket. That's my best find yet. Feeling good about this glass cleanup already. Whoa, where'd he go? That was a cricket. That's one of our fall musicians out here. So I think I'll head over here. This is there's just something special about this spot right here. And look at all this glass right here. This is where I want to spend some time. Probably wind down here. But this is my healing grounds. This is the rock garden. And you can see that pine tree right there that has fallen. That fell back in December on a big wind storm, and I swear that was about my favorite tree. These pines are real big up here. And I walked up from over the side here. You can see there's an old one, probably fell years ago. And I saw that this tree had fallen, and it, didn't make me cry, but I felt a pang for sure. Oh. I had named it the Shining Pine. And now the sun sure shines right there. Shining on the rock garden. So, I'm thinking right here, right where she's gonna go stand probably. Look at all that glass. I think right here might be a good place to try out duct tape. And, I was just thinking about how glass is not magnetic. And that makes this a little more challenging to pick up these small pieces. But here it's pretty bare soil and just glass. Here, come here, Tim. Come right here. I want you away from the spot I'm gonna work in. So, she's helping. She's helping. You're a good girl, Tuna. Oh, Fortuna. You're a good girl. I thought here might be a good spot to try out the duct tape. Wait. Well, did a decent job. And I want to leave as much raw material, you know, leaves and pine needles and rocks. Not really wanting to take much of that. That looks pretty good. Well, it's already better than it was. What do you think, Tim? Yeah. Look at that. Little microclimate of moss underneath this piece of glass here. Probably trapped a little extra moisture when it rains underneath it, and allowed that moss to take a hold there. What would be great is if moss could cover this whole bare area. It's gotten an interesting head start. Hey, maybe I should leave all this broken glass. Well, taking stock of everything. I got quite the haul. And learned some things, had some interactions with some people. Oh, there we go. I'm kind of feeling like this could definitely be its own sort of mindfulness practice, community service, and the airplane flew right over me. You know, because what I really want to do is be able to do this. Just lay down in the woods. Can I get my, you know, walk barefoot? And that's the ultimate goal. Just be able to safely do that anywhere. I could safely do it now, I just have to be very cautious. And, you know, allow for the risk. But every piece of glass removed is one less piece of risk out here. And I think of all the things I found today, I'm most excited about this, because this is a lot of broken glass waiting to happen, and it's not gonna happen. Not out here. So, I'd call it a success. Just sit back and enjoy the sights and sounds. Here from the rock garden. The other, I guess, to wrap up my thoughts on this, it's very easy to feel overwhelmed that this is an impossible task if the task is to clean up all the glass, to pick up all the glass, to get every piece of broken glass. Easily that feels, you know, defeating, like an impossible task. And it is, really. I'm not gonna get every piece. That's not realistic. to frame the expectation that way. So, you know, how do I never fight that feeling like this is pointless because I'm not going to get it all? Well, just reframe it as I'm going to get this piece, and I'm going to pick up this piece. Here's a piece. And piece by piece, you end up with a bucket. You know, how does a crab roll a sand ball? One grain of sand at a time. It's not out there trying to roll up the whole beach. So I'm just going through, picking out the glass, separating the sand from the glass. And making this a little bit less dangerous for bare feet. And I kind of, I was noticing I spent some time over here kind of in a deep squat position. That was nice. I kind of stuck my leg out, maybe how like a baseball catcher, they kind of shift around in different positions. So I was kind of playing with that. So that's the wrap. Some more kids just showed up. Climbing the tree over there. Love to see it.